Good day, everyone. Our topic for today is all about rational or irrational numbers. But before that, don't forget to like or subscribe to this channel and hit the bell button for more updates. Also, you will find different subjects in this YouTube channel. Just select the playlist section. And now, let's proceed to our main topic for today, which is all about rational or irrational numbers. Real numbers as opposed to fake numbers. Two kinds of real numbers. So pag sabing real numbers, it is either a rational or irrational numbers. So anything like for instance, one, two, one half, fractions, integers, those are real numbers. So there are two types or two kinds of real numbers. The first one is the rational numbers, and the second is the irrational numbers. So the real numbers have the rational and irrational numbers. Now let's break these subsets down further. For the rational number, a rational number is a real number that can be written as a ratio or fraction of two integers. So, pag sabing rational number, pwede ko siyang isulat as a fraction. Halimbawa, 16. Can I write 16 as a fraction? Yes. A 16, yung number 16, meron siyang denominator na 1. Kung alam kung uh, titignan natin, yung number 16, meron siyang denominator na 1. Pero hindi siya laging sinusulat, 'di ba? It's an parang ano siya, imaginary number na lang siya or yeah. Hindi na lang siya nilalagay. 16 over 1, okay, is a fraction, but it can be a whole number, okay? So, since pwede siyang i-represent into a fraction, we call it a rational number. A written in decimal form is terminating or ends or repeating same pattern for numbers. So, pwede rin siyang number na naka-decimal form. Halimbawa, 0.25. 0.25 is a terminating decimal. Ibig sabihin, meron siyang katapusan. So, rational number pa rin siya. Kapag naman repeating yung decimal, basta same pattern siya, siya pa rin ay tinatawag nating rational. Halimbawa, 1.66666, maraming 6, unending. Okay? Repeating siya. So, that example is a rational. Kasi yung 1.66666 ay same pattern. Okay? Yung number 6, pare-pareho lang siya. So, still, rational number pa rin ang example na yon. Now, let's have an examples of these rational numbers. Halimbawa, 16. So just like what I've said, 16 is a whole number. Pero pwede ko siyang gawing fraction and that is 16 over 1. 1 half is a fraction, so that is a rational number. 3.57 is a terminating decimal or yung merong katapusan, no? Hanggang 6 lang siya. So this one is a rational number. Negative 8 is an integer, but negative 8 over 1, negative 8 can be represented into a fraction such as negative 8 over 1. So still, rational pa rin yan. 1.333 and so on, walang katapusan. It is a repeating decimal but with the same pattern. So still, it is a rational number. And finally, negative 3/4, still it is a fraction, though negative sign siya, but still, it is a rational number. Now, let's proceed to irrational numbers. Pag sabing irrational numbers is a number that cannot be written as a ratio or fractions of two integers. So, hindi siya pwedeng gawing fraction. Hindi siya pwedeng i-represent as fraction. And that is what we call irrational numbers. Written as decimals are non-terminating or never end. So, ibig sabihin, yung decimal niya ay walang katapusan. Okay? Wala siyang katapusan yung decimal niya. But at the same time, wala din siyang pattern. Okay? Non-terminating siya, at the same time, never end siya, pero wala din siyang pattern. Okay? Non-repeating siya. No pattern din. Okay. So, ano ba yung mga sample na yon na irrational numbers? Sige, let's have an examples. Examples of irrational numbers. Square roots of non-perfect square. Lahat ng mga non-perfect square roots ay tinatawag nating irrational numbers. So, halimbawa, square root of 17. Square root of 17, kung itatype mo siya ngayon sa calculator mo, hindi siya perfect square. Tama? So, that one is an irrational numbers. Another example, square root of 2 is not a perfect square, so it is irrational. Square root of 3 is not a perfect square, so it is an irrational. Square root of 5 is not a perfect square. How about square root of 4? Is it a perfect square? Yes. What is the square root of 4? And that is equal to 2. Tama? So, that one is rational. Another, square root of 16, is that rational or irrational? That one is rational kasi square root of 16 is equal to 4. Tama? So, that one, kapag ang given na square roots ay hindi perfect square, iyon ay irrational. Another is yung pi na tinatawag natin. So, yung pi kasi meron siyang value na 1.645, etc. So, ay 3.1465 yata, if I'm not mistaken. So, wala siyang katapusan, no? That is 22 over 7 kung gagawin siya. 22 over 7. It's a mixed fraction. 22 over 7. 3 point something yata. I forgot the value. But still, 3.16. But still, that pi is what we call the irrational. It's a sample of irrational numbers. Okay? Now, let's classify the following. Let's determine if the numbers are, or if the given number is a rational or irrational number. So 0, do you think it is a rational or irrational? The answer is it is a rational because 0 is a whole number and it's part of the rational number. No? So rational ang 0. Okay, another. 4, is it rational or irrational? The answer is rational because 4 can be what? Can be written as a fraction, that is 4 over 1. How about negative 9? It is a rational because negative 9 can be written as fraction, that is negative 9 over 1. Pi, the answer is irrational. Next, 3/4 or 0.75. So 3/4 and 0.75 are the same. And 0.75 is a non-repeating numbers, okay? It has ends. So it is a rational number. Next, square root of 4. The answer is rational. Why? Because square root of 4 is a perfect square and the answer is equal to 2. So it is a rational number. Square root of 15. The answer is irrational because square root of 15 is not a perfect square. Okay, let's determine the following if they are rational or irrational. 0.73. Rational. Correct. Square root of 2. Irrational because square root of 2 is not a perfect square. 0.66666 and so on. Rational because 0.66666 is a repeating number but it is or it has the same pattern and that is 6. 3.142 rational because it has n. Even though it is a decimal in form, pero meron siyang katapusan and that is yung n number niya is 2. 12.25 square root of 12.25 irrational because square root of 12.25 is not a perfect square. Square root of 7 irrational because square root of 7 is not a perfect square. 4 plus square root of 5 irrational because the square root of 5 is not a perfect square. And then h rational. Why? Because cube root of 2 or quantity cube root of 2 cube, etong 3 pwede siyang i-cancel. So matitira 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So that is rational. 16 1/2. This is equivalent to square root of 16. So pwede siyang isulat as a square root of 16. What is the square root of 16? The answer is 4. So it is a perfect square root. Therefore, it is irrational. Next, cube root of 2 squared. That is a irrational because cube root of 2 squared kapag inano mo yan, and cube root of 2, dito pa lang sa cube root of 2, wala na. It is not a perfect cube root. So, wala ka na makukuha dyan. So, therefore, that portion is irrational because it is not a perfect cube root or not a perfect square. Okay, so that's all about for the illustration of irrational or irrational number. Thank you very much for listening and good day.